Hello everyone, welcome to Wi-Fi Learn. In this video, we can see about Ohm's law. It is a law discovered by George Simon Ohm. According to Ohm principle theory, that the amount of electrical current through a conductor, through a metal conductor in a circuit is directly proportional to the voltage that is applied across it at a constant temperature. So, Ohm's law is related for the relationship between voltage, current and the resistance of the circuit, electrical circuit. It is discovered by the scientist George Simon Ohm. According to the scientist's name, they have given the name as Ohm's law. So, according to Ohm's theory, that the electrical current flowing through the metallic conductor would be directly proportional to the voltage impressed on it, that is voltage applied on it. So, we can write like this also: voltage is directly proportional to current, or current is directly proportional to voltage of the metallic conductor with a resistance R, with R resistance at constant temperature. Why at a constant temperature? Because resistance varies due to the temperature. We have already seen the resistance, right? If you increase the temperature, then the value of the resistance would increase. At that time, the Ohm's law is not valid. For a constant temperature only, the Ohm's law is valid. In this circuit, assume we have connected a battery of voltage V through a resistance R, and the current is flowing from positive terminal to the negative terminal of the battery. And here the applied voltage is directly proportional to the current flowing through the circuit. If you remove the proportionality, we have to add the constant. So, V would be equal to I into R, where R is a value of the resistance of the conductor. So, V is directly proportional to I. It states that V and I are in linear relationship. So, Ohm's law is applicable for a linear elements. Ohm's law is applicable for linear elements. It is not applicable for non-linear elements. If the elements does not obeys Ohm's law, then that element is said to be as a non-linear element. So, resistor is a linear element. By saying this, we can say that resistor is a linear element and obeys Ohm's law. All linear elements must obey the Ohm's law, and Ohm's law is applicable only to linear elements. This is a Ohm's law triangle. That applied potential difference would be equal to the, or applied potential difference is directly proportional to the current flowing through the conductor, metallic conductor present in the circuit. So, remove the proportionality, we will add the constant. So, V would be equal to product of I into R. If you know any two values, we can find other values. So, current flowing through the metallic conductor would be equal to potential difference applied across the circuit or the resistance divided by the value of the resistance. Or resistance value would be equal to the applied potential difference divided by the current flowing through the circuit. The unit of voltage is volt, unit of current is ampere, and the unit of resistance is ohms. If you remember this triangle, we can find the values of other. In order to establish the current voltage relationship, V and I remains constant for the given resistance. Therefore, a graph between V and I must be in the straight line. To maintain the voltage current relationship, or to maintain or establish voltage and current relationship, that V and I must be constant. We know that the resistance value is constant for a metal, right? Resistance is constant for a metal. We are maintaining at a constant temperature, metallic conductor. So, resistance to be maintained constant. To maintain a resistance to constant, we have to make a V by I ratios to be in the constant value. To maintain V and I as a constant, the graph must be in a straight line. So, it will obey the linearity principle. If you take V here and I here, we need the V by I ratio slope to be as a constant. V by I ratio must be of constant. To maintain a constant value, that the element must obey the linearity principle. It shows a graph of straight line and it should pass through the origin. Then only the element can obey a Ohm's law. So, We all know that resistance is a constant value. To maintain a V by I ratio as a constant, the element should possess a graph of a straight line. This is a graph of Ohm's law. It is also a graph of the linear element also. We all know that resistance is a linear element. Now let's see the limitations of Ohm's law. Ohm's law is not applicable for unilateral elements. Since current flows only in one direction, it does not flows in the other direction if the voltage polarities are reversed in the unilateral elements. So it is not applicable for unilateral elements. We have discussed already about the unilateral elements. That unilateral elements are the elements in which if the polarity of the voltage is reversed, the voltage and current relationships are not same, right? If the voltage and current relationships are not same, then we cannot apply the Ohm's law. Since Ohm's law must possess a linear graph of a straight line on both the quadrants of first and 3. Does not obeys that, then the unilateral element cannot possess the Ohm's law. It is not applicable. Unilateral element cannot allows current to flow in other direction if the voltage polarities are reversed. So it does not obey the Ohm's law. It doesn't obey Ohm's law. Unilateral element possesses the current only in one direction. It won't allow the current to flow in other direction if the voltages are reversed. And Ohm's law is not applicable for non-linear element. By using this slope of the graph, V and I ratio must maintain the constant to possess a straight line. That shows that the Ohm's law obeys for linear element. For non-linearity, the voltage and current relationship would not be in the evenly variation, would not be varying evenly. So, Ohm's law cannot be applicable for non-linearity, non-linear elements. This is another limitations. Ohm's law is not applicable for non-linear element. The elements which do not possess the voltage and current relationship linearly, that elements are termed to be as a non-linear element, or if does not obey the superposition principle is also termed as a non-linear element. So this non-linear element cannot obey the Ohm's law. These are some of the limitations of the Ohm's law.